Hello and welcome to another edition of Another Book Review. This week I'll be reviewing Andy Weir's novel Artemis. I'll talk very briefly about the author, go into a spoiler-free overview of the plot, talk about what I liked about the book, what I didn't like about the book, who I'd recommend the book to, and finish off with what I'll be reading for next time. Andy Weir is best known for writing The Martian, which came out in 2011, was made into a movie in 2015. Prior to that, he was a computer programmer, and I believe he worked in some comics as well. And after that, he became a professional writer full-time, and Artemis, I believe, is his follow-up. I don't believe there's any connection between Artemis and The Martian. I've never read The Martian, so I'm not 100% on that, but that's my understanding. And this book, Artemis, is about a woman named Jazz, who is a smuggler on the moon of the moon city of Artemis, which is the only major city, or the only city on the moon. And she basically works to smuggle in goods into the city that are kind of black market goods there. She becomes kind of embroiled in a mystery once a couple people she's close to are murdered, and she kind of becomes the central character in kind of this kind of a plot to overturn this kind of conspiracy that's going to take over the city and kind of ruin it, I guess, is the most vague way I can say that. So that's the book. It is kind of a techno sci-fi book. Sci-fi in the sense that it's set in the future. Techno in the sense that Andy Weir is kind of known for his scientifically accurate writing, and he has that here as well. The action scenes, he kind of describes in great detail exactly how this character, who has some background in engineering because her father is a welder, I believe he's a spot welder on Artemis. In the novel, everybody lives in basically domed housing. There's also a tourism industry, and basically the city is divided into 3 or 4 domes. There's a map. You can kind of follow that. I think the book was pretty fun. I mean, I think it's supposed to be kind of a page turner, and I think it does a good job of that. I think it's written in a style, to me, it was very reminiscent of almost Ready Player One crossed with Christopher Moore. And if you kind of like that kind of like snappy, humorous style, I think you'll like it. The main character, like I said, is kind of a fun, likable character. A lot of the book is really kind of the different relationships she has in her life, and how a lot of the book is kind of her ultimately kind of repairing those relationships. So I think those things were fun. I think from the things I didn't like as much, from a plot standpoint, the plot is kind of, I think, secondary in a lot of ways. I kind of found myself reading it, and there would be times where I'd stop myself and go, what is happening here? It's not that the plot is necessarily bad. It just feels sometimes overly complex for the sake of complexity. And I found myself kind of forgetting what was happening at certain points or why a character was going from one place to another in the novel, just because the plot didn't quite live up to the rest of the book. It's kind of clear that Andy Weir loved this character, the main character. There was not really a sense of danger with her at any point in time. You kind of knew throughout the novel that she was going to be okay. And so that part of it, I wish he had put a little bit more sense of danger. And again, this kind of goes to stylistically that sense of kind of, like I said, a Christopher Moore of, the author really likes this character, so you're not really worried about them being put in danger. And I wish that there had been a little bit more of an edge to the book because of that. So those are the kind of things that I had a hard time with. Like I said, I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but it did suffer to me. The plot I wish could have been a little stronger. There are also parts and characters in the novel that didn't quite have the payoff I was expecting or really have a resolution. I found myself feeling that way. The book is, I will give it this credit, it is kind of perfectly set up for a sequel, and he kind of ends it at kind of a place that makes a lot of sense, and kind of, if he wants to return to this world, it'll be very easy for him to do. If you're looking for something to give to someone who maybe is in high school, maybe a junior or senior, there is language in this book, there's cursing, but there's no real graphic sex or graphic violence. If you like someone who likes their writing with a little bit more science behind it, like I said, because of Andy Weir's background, he definitely explains kind of different situations that the characters find themselves in the moon, that they find themselves while on the moon, as far as pressure and the amount of air, or how you would basically put out a fire. The importance of oxygen kind of plays a large role in the book. So if any of those things sound interesting to you, I would definitely give it a check. I haven't read The Martian, so I can't really compare it to his earlier writing. He is, like I said, if you don't mind going into that level of detail, I would check it out. Just to give you an example, this is someone at the end of the book, he has about a 10-page section on the economics of the city. Not economics of the city, but economics of how space travel could work in the future, that I felt was very well thought out. I think some of the things that were maybe less as well thought out, as far as how the city would actually function, and some of the details in the city kind of lends a little bit less to the credibility. I never kind of got there are details that I want to know, like how many people actually live in the city. If there were this many people, why are there so few police officers? And just things like that didn't feel as genuine. And it felt like he kind of wanted it both ways, and he wanted to have a small city feel, but it didn't really make sense if you think logically through some of the premises of the book. But I think you can hand wave a lot of that stuff. I think you can hand wave the plot. I think if you go in with the idea of having just kind of a fun ride with these characters, I think you'll enjoy yourself if you don't mind a little bit of science kind of thrown in with your fiction. So that was Artemis by Andy Weir, and next time I'm going to be reading High Fidelity by Nick Hornsby. Until next time, please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll have my Twitter link, my link to my Twitter account below, so you can my handle there, so you can check me out there. Until next time, bye.